Oops.
Go ahead and please give her permission to do that.
Yes, if you could, so we can at least get Kurt on here. And then, Kurt, if you have a hero that you would like to highlight, you're welcome to include that in your presentation. Kurt is our spotlight speaker today. Looking forward to that. And then we'll end with an inspirational thought and any announcements and reminders. So let's take a moment for a 30-second moment of silence. And now for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're able to stand, it's a good time to do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our national anthem, which this is from last week, so please let me know.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I thought that one was worth a repeat. And if you go to the scuttlebutt.club, which I did put in the chat, it will take you to this page where you can always find the Zoom registration link. You can share this with people to let them know what our meeting agenda will be. You can also get to our Facebook page and our YouTube page on here. And then we normally do our business briefs now, but instead we are going to turn this over to Kurt, who, oops, wrong thing here. Let me stop sharing. Where'd you go? Stop share. We go. Okay, Kurt, Santa Papa John, can you set the timer for, let's see, we only need 5 minutes at the end. So let's see, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, set it at 18 minutes. And Kurt, you can take as much or as little of that time as you want to. 18. And so if you want to take a few minutes or a couple minutes to talk about someone that has served, you can do that with your presentation if you want.
Sure. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. It's wonderful to have you all here, and it is amazing what we are accomplishing together. I do want to give recognition to a veteran that I've been able to work with for over a couple years here, maybe heading towards 3 years. I was on a podcast and, talking away about my stuff, and the lady that was doing the podcast said, okay, we got to put a pin in it for a bit here. We've got another guest, and I'm like, who is this other guest? And the person I was introduced in that moment is apparently someone. Angela tells me that Brian was our first presenter here at All Stars and Stripes Heroes Connection. So it's kind of a little bringing Brian back to the forefront. So look at him here, born in Traverse City, Michigan, born to a Navy career family, raised all over the United States, joined the Army in Seattle, Washington, mainly because he doesn't swim so well, where he served for 26 years as a combat medic, attained the rank of SFC E7 in service to our country and retired in 2016. Now he's proud to call Kentucky home. He's seen and done things that he's not at liberty to tell us and wouldn't want us to hear. Because of those things, he's had a disagreement with the Lord. So for years, he allowed Satan to take himself down the wrong path, which almost cost him his life, literally. He's self-medicated with alcohol, and as many of his brothers and sisters do, and worse. At one point, he had a 45 in his mouth and ready to pull the trigger. And when he received a phone call, and what happened there is that phone call got him to accept an invitation from a friend to go to a motorcycle rally where a Harley Davidson motorcycle was being raffled off. It was there at the Free Spirit Biker Church, just to show you that God has a sense of humor. It was a pink building, and he met Pastor Dennis Lawrence. So I just want to pause there. I'm an ambassador with Project iHeart, projectiheart.org, and we combat veteran suicide by spreading hope to veterans. And we are ever so proud to say that we are Santa approved. Thank you, Santa Papa John. Santa Papa John has been working diligently with us the last year, helping us spread the mission. We say that for what we're doing in this work, it's important that we get all of you to consider, are you willing to pray for us? Are you willing to spend time with us? Are you willing to spread our mission, as you're hearing it, learning here, and then helping us on the monetary side, either yourself or with others? And that's how we can keep growing to fill the gap in this big need in finding a day where we might be able to reduce, to get a downward spiral to this so far escalating issue of veteran suicide. So how did I otherwise get into this work? You might have heard, or either heard or not, that I'm in the world of water skiing. I love to water ski, and the story goes 10 years ago. My family and I were in the thrust of growing adaptive water ski in the state of Wisconsin. So in my practice to do so, I went to what is Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. The Twin Lakes Aquanuts water ski show team every year provides a fantastic season of adaptive water skiing on their calendar. 10 different adaptive water ski opportunities, including for our injured and wounded veterans. And so that's really what drew me into this world, as I started to meet these veterans and veteran service providers at this adaptive water ski event. And with other sports, there was adaptive scuba on the grounds and so on and so forth. And one thing leads to another. And I'm in this region of suicide prevention and in the veteran community and the whole thing. One story in the water ski world is a lady out of the Chicago area, Woodstock, Illinois, actually. She became Miss Wheelchair Illinois. And she went on to represent Illinois in the Miss Wheelchair USA pageant and so forth. And part of her story is that with the adaptive water skiing, she wasn't looking it over at all to get into it. It was a friend that knew about the Twin Lakes Aquanut program first and, encouraged her to go take a look at it, check it out, and maybe take it on. And she did. And when I met her at the event, she told me quite a bit about her story. And the end result of it all is I give water skiing the credit, as she seemed to be trying to tell me that water skiing saved her life. So to be able to have these opportunities and, to be able to reach the veterans and to have the community and individuals, community members, invite them, to have that invitation is so key. So, with the adaptive water skiing, I was more in the entire realm of just considering people with disabilities to bring them into the sport of water skiing. So, I want to share with you a little run through in terms of what the disability community around the world has taught me, and big credit to Wisconsinites with disabilities for sure. Um, so what we have here is a little concept that with everything they shared and taught me, I created a mantra of the world of ability because it did open up a whole new world for me. I'm 53 years old. I tell the story that I didn't really think this way much at all until I entered my 40s, and thanks to all these people. So now I understand this whole realm to a point where I come up with a notion of beyond inclusivity, because I feel like when I entered into it, it was this tension between my culture, my custom, and genetic memory and how everything works aside from this. And now, what am I going to do, now that my eyes have been opened up to these thoughts? And I really started to realize that there's a lot to offer me, that is only possible through the population of people with disabilities. So when I say beyond inclusivity and we look at this part here, what can I do? It's a very personal thing. So I'm not trying to get on my soapbox here and create this dynamic where I'm like trying to suggest that what I'm talking about here that any of you need to do. The world of people with disabilities taught me about self-determination. So everything I do is in that mantra. And with the water ski stories, I tell the story about how 6 years ago I was at our water ski show site, and there's a tree on the grounds, and there was a gentleman by this tree one night when we were doing practice with our water ski show. So I came in with the water ski group and I picked up my skis, and then I set them back down to talk to this gentleman, had a nice talk to him about how he enjoys the lake area, so on and so forth. And I looked at him and I said, "What about joining our water ski club?" And that created about a minute of awkward silence, but I persisted because I asked a sincere question and I really wanted to know the answer. And he did provide. And you know what he said, folks? He said, "I thought you had to be somebody." That was instruction, folks. That was a moment of instruction beyond any other thing that I've ever done in my life. 53 years of life, that was paramount to about the most important moment in my life, because I wake up every morning that I want to make sure each of you know that you are somebody. So here we have a little reality in the world of business. 50% of businesses fail in the first 5 years, and that also means 50% succeed. And I propose that what I'm talking about in terms of inclusion, accessibility, and accommodation, people with disabilities, our injured, wounded veterans, the whole pile. Do you know that 50% of our senior citizens are in the category of being identified as having a disability? So this is a huge issue. It's like driving your car and you look at that rear view mirror, and that rear view mirror has that little notation on it that I think most all of us are familiar with. The objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. And so the idea is that 25% of our population, falls into the realm of being in the disability population. And before I learned all this, I thought it was more like 1%. I thought it was more like 99-to-1 ratio, where it's actually a 3-to-1 ratio. So I was quite ignorant before the masters of ability taught all of this to me. So I have a fishing analogy that imagine that our business is a fishing business and we have a ship and we go out there to catch, as much fish as we need to catch, can catch, and so forth. And you own this ship and you go out there to see how they're managing your ship, only to realize that when you inspect it, they've got a hole in the net and they're not thinking much of it. But when you look at it, it's like, wow, 1 in 4 of the fish that they have there are swimming right out before it comes onto your ship. Very ineffective, right? And this is how I look at inclusion, accessibility, and accommodation, is that we're only defeating ourselves by not diving right into this whole practice. So today's plan is to quickly just have a short little synopsis in 6 different areas: entrepreneurship, education, lifelong learning, service, for sure, including veteran philanthropy, citizenship, advocacy, and civics, faith, and fun. I propose these topics as operating like a 6-cylinder engine, that if we can place inclusion, accessibility, accommodation, remembering to invite people with disabilities or injured, wounded veterans, and to think of who we're missing and get them on in, we're going to maximize our human resource. We have a friend here today who's on human resources. I'm sure he's finding this presentation extremely interesting. So here we go: entrepreneurship, inclusive hiring, recruiting, ability, marketing. It affects how we market. Oh, sorry, folks. Oh, giving you a little glimpse ahead, I guess. Jumped ahead. There we go. So I'm part of a group called the No More 9 to 5 Club. So I'm working with them to say, would they like to work with me to have an ability program? We've already had success with the Happy Neighbor Project, where I met the very famous Santa Papa John, and we still have our handful of H&P meetings we see each other on. And so we can look at your customer base and how we can grow at a 33% increase, because if you're not effective in reaching people with disabilities and they're 25% in the marketplace, that's 1 part out of 4. And if you're only catching 3 parts, when you get this part down, that's a 33% increase. It's huge. Okay, so education, lifelong learning, like what I'm doing here. How accessible is my presentation? We don't have a sign language interpreter here, and these things are not mentioned to criticize anything. It's just to look to the future to say, how are we as an entire population going to close in and address these issues and harness the opportunity that it suggests for us? So we have professional development, personal learning, people first language, that we don't say that autism kid or we don't say that blind guy and all this stuff that we're defining them by their disability, that we say that person who has blindness or is visually impaired, or that person who is, deaf or hard of hearing. Recognize them as a person first. And TAB stands for temporarily able-bodied. And Sue's story is about how, she met someone who she felt a little awkward and timid, wasn't sure how to work with them. And the secret we learned that her story is about, that she learned, that you just got to ask the person. The people with disabilities are more than happy to help you participate in what you can do together. So in service, again, we have veteran philanthropy, or nonprofits, injured, wounded veterans, purposely designed to be inclusive. So I'm just having a check-in with all of you to say, I know we all go circles that could improve vastly in these areas. So in citizenship, citizen action, civics with our cities, village, counties, states, there's a lot of room for growth here to get our disability allies, disability caucuses in our politics. And look at the numbers. More than 1.3 billion people globally report a disability. So in faith, I love to work on ability ministry, to look at how people reach to energetics and spirituality and how they accomplish balance and self-care, how they refuel. Some might value practice of Reiki and somehow tapping the source and how we do self-healing, self-care, the whole thing. So this is a realm that we can look at. How is this working? How ideal is it for our friends with disabilities? And so here we have the fun element, showing you a little adaptive water skiing like we know how to provide. We branched out to wheelchair basketball, inclusive sports. There's a universal park project out here in Milwaukee. You're seeing beaches are being made more accessible. We have a rock climbing wall and indoor sports with with sports wheelchairs. So for wheelchair sports, and my family and I, we all had the experience in doing that. And there are a lot of injured, wounded veterans doing that stuff, thankfully. So the inclusive future, again, can be built from you looking at how you do your faith service, lifelong learning, your civics, entrepreneurship, and fun, and ask yourself, what might you do? What adjustments can you make? And look at how this will improve your bottom line. People with disabilities are not a liability. And we have a lot of that stinking thinking going on all around the world. I know you can make a difference. You're a big deal. I'm here at the World Ability Podcast. I want to tell your story, and I want to stick with you because I know your story is exciting and the best is yet to come. I put in the chat some references that are a little showcase of Skiing the Dream. And then there's a presentation I gave to BizNet Sparks. I know that somebody in this meeting referenced BizNet Sparks. And there is my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Ability Network. So there you go. There you have it. Now it's over to you. What do you want to do now? I'm Special K, turning it over.
Hey, Kurt, can you, is that YouTube channel link in the chat? Can you put that in the chat?
They're all in there.
Look at
He
that.
has
Okay.
it.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, you put them all in there.
All right. Thank you. Well, I'm going to go ahead and encourage everybody to reach out to Kurt, set up a one-to-one. If you have questions, pop them in the chat and he can answer those for you. And so that for the sake of time, so we can get finished up. Thank you, Kurt. That was a wonderful presentation. You did perfect time. I just want to go over real quick. And if we have time at the end of the meeting, if Kurt has time, you're welcome to ask questions then as well. Next week, we will not be meeting for Labor Day. And then we have a few spotlight speakers coming up. Terry will be presenting on the 22nd, and we're really going to be promoting that. She'll be sharing the movie with us on that day. So
Short narrative film.
A narrative film. Okay. How long is it?
I don't know. I just saw it for the very first time Saturday night, so I didn't time it.
Okay. Our inspirational thought is you don't always need a plan. Sometimes you just need to breathe, trust, let go, and see what happens. And I want to thank everybody for coming today, and I'm going to stop sharing so we can see if anyone has any announcements or testimonials.
Just one quick announcement, like last week, this Wednesday, 7 p.m. If you want to go on LinkedIn, you can register if you're a veteran-owned business or working with a veteran service organization for my Veteran Biz Connect business exchange forum. Just putting it out there.
Great. And is that in the chat as well, you said?
Yeah, I put it in earlier.
Okay. And I do want to encourage everybody to save the chat. And Ruben, yes.
Yes, Kurt, excellent presentation, my friend. It just shakes me up. I paint, as you know, I paint with veterans. They paint to heal, I paint to market. So I put a link in the chat. And what I do is constantly tell them, do what I do. And a few of them are starting to find out that they can do that on Instagram. In other words, show what they paint on Instagram by using the tools that Instagram provides. And so I'm encouraging them to do that. And Angela, you probably know what the outcome might be. is they get the little satisfaction that someone acknowledges what they do. And that's the key. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. Yeah, that was a great shout out for Kurt. Anybody else have anything?
Richard's got his hand up.
Let's see. Oh yeah, there you are, Richard.
Yeah, I just want to make an announcement that I put it in the chat for anyone who's on the obviously alignable platform in my group. There is a networking meeting this Wednesday, and you're more than welcome to attend that. It's Tom Gay is putting on the starting point workshop for coaches. So,
all right, great.
But it applies to any business person, not just coaches.
Okay. All right. And Alan, it was great to have you here. So glad you found our meeting. How did you find us?
I was just on Alignable and it was like I was looking for the events and I just clicked an event that I literally had a probably hour to kill. So I was like, all right, let me hop on. Let's see if I can do some networking. I liked
Awesome.
it. It was cool.
Great. Well, hope you can make it back and bring your contacts with you and spread the word about us.
Absolutely.
That's how we've been growing. So, yeah, Terry.
Okay, so back to when I speak on September 22nd. If you know of someone that has been in a traumatic situation in their life, I would highly encourage you to get them on this call because it's there's too many people walking around the face of this earth that's still dealing with some traumatic situations and they don't know how to get out of it. And they're not living the life that God created them to be. So my movie probably is around 18 minutes long. That's it. Because we have to go back and reshoot a scene, unfortunately. But I do want to show you this.
Okay. Well, that's good. I was just wanting to find out if we need to alter our format to be able to watch the whole thing. And it sounds like it'll fit. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. And I appreciate y'all's patience today. So let me stop recording. Everybody give a big wave so I can get a screenshot later.